Frequently asked question number 21. Do succulents prefer morning or afternoon sun? Now ideally they will prefer morning direct sunlight for 5 to 6 hours after acclimating it, depending upon what kind of succulent you have. If you have Haworthias, they do not like direct sunlight. If you have succulents that do not change the color from green, any other color, they just stay green throughout the year, then they do not like direct sunlight. So you need to understand what kind of succulent you have. Now definitely a green color succulent would be a no-go in an afternoon sunlight. It will completely be destroyed. So what kind of sunlight would your succulent prefer, morning or afternoon? Again, that depends upon the type of succulent. If you have brightly colored succulents which tend to change the color according to the amount of sunlight it receives, then those succulents can be kept in morning direct sunlight for 5 to 6 hours after acclimating it. For example, this is one of the Echeveria that I have. I'm not quite sure about the name, but it tends to turn completely red when it is exposed to direct sunlight. Now it was in its growing period. That's the reason why it has reverted to its color green. But as and when I'm going to stress it, it tends to turn red in color, which means I can offer a good amount of morning direct sunlight for 5 to 6 hours after acclimating it. Whereas I would say ideally they prefer morning sunlight, but then it should be shaded during the rest of the day, since the temperatures are generally very high during the afternoon and the direct afternoon sunlight can be very strong for the succulent leaves. So I would say do not expose them to afternoon direct sunlight. But let's say that you are a person who tends to only receive afternoon direct sunlight, then of course you can keep your succulents under afternoon direct sunlight, provided you have some kind of filtration to cut down on that sunlight. Probably you can use a shade cloth or a green net or anything, probably a white net, whatever is available. As long as you are giving a filtered afternoon sunlight, it's absolutely fine. But at no point never expose your succulents to direct afternoon sunlight, especially if you belong to a place wherein the temperatures are very high. Ideally, even in my city, the temperatures stay up to 32 degrees Celsius, 33 degrees Celsius, but the afternoon sun can still be really strong. So I do not expose my succulents to afternoon sunlight. You might have seen my previous setup wherein the succulents get a good amount of morning direct sunlight for 5 to 6 hours. As the sun starts to climb and gets into the afternoon sun, it's completely shaded and it only receives indirect bright light. So you can kind of create a setup like this, but only morning direct sunlight for 5 to 6 hours after acclimation is going to work out really well for your succulents. Do not expose them to direct afternoon sunlight. I hope that this video was helpful to you, and thank you so much for watching.